Live. I'm just going to wait a little bit to see if people are on. FC
Sweet.
Youth is live.
Yep.
Can someone check our link on YouTube to tell us if we're on?
I'm headed there now.
What's up? First Christian Youth, anyone? I don't know if we're live right now. I think we are. I think there's a way for me to check comments.
FC, what's going on, man? How you guys doing? What's up?
Guys at The Rock, I don't know if you guys can see me. We are live in California, and I didn't bring any of my stuff, or I brought some stuff with me. So I don't even know if you guys are there. I think we are, and Brittany is.
Hey,
Yes.
are you supposed to be streaming live from Instagram?
No, YouTube.
Oh,
Are
YouTube.
Did you check YouTube?
Yeah, it's working.
We're on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry,
Am I not
folks.
picking that up? Oh, yeah,
Alright.
here we go.
All right. Let's restart.
Restart.
Let's pretend. Hey,
Yeah.
I just went live. What's up, guys?
We're live now.
So this is my friend Santi. Santi is the youth pastor here at FC Youth, which is the youth group at First Christian Church in El Centro, California, which is where Brittany and I went to church. That's the youth group we met. I don't know if you knew that. We met our senior year.
I saw the pictures.
We touched hands one time and sparks flew. And it all happened in the youth room. We're not in the youth room right now. We're actually in a random room in the church.
Little study rooms.
Yeah.
One of those study rooms.
But Santi, tell the people
Yeah,
something
man.
about yourself.
What's up, guys? As you heard, Santi. Short for Santiago, so you don't have to try to pronounce the whole name. Youth pastor here at the church. I've been the youth pastor here now, going on to my second year. Like, that's pretty crazy. I never thought I'd be in ministry. Never thought that youth pastor will be the title that I'm given. But praise God that I get to do this. It's a blessing. I love it. It's my passion. Yeah, I mean, things didn't start off that way. Like I said, I had to really deal with some of the dirt in my past to get to where I'm at. I didn't have a high school diploma coming in. Had a lot of just division in my family. In order to want to take on this role, I went back to school, got my GED. I started talking to my family, made sure I mended some of those relationships, just so that I can start fresh and represent Christ well. So that's kind of a little bit about me.
Well, I wanted to talk more about your life in a little bit as we're going to talk about certain things. So usually Sunday nights we have youth group, The Rock Live. This Sunday, because I'm in California, I was really debating, should we just not do it or go ahead and do it? And we decided to do it, but because we're going to do something different. I wanted to talk about some things, as you guys might have known. Today I want to talk about things going on in the world around us. There's a lot of talk about racism and riots, and I wanted to talk about that, but obviously that's kind of a different setup for youth group, because in youth group we don't really talk about things like that. And lately I've had a lot of DMs from students, from you guys, asking questions and talking about things that it's real, and it's almost like, man, we need to talk about this as a church. We need to show that the church we're not just going to talk about, all these feel-good stories and everything's perfect. We need to talk about what's going on in the world out there, because you see it. You're on social media. You see what's going on in the world, and we can't pretend as pastors, we can't pretend that you're not seeing those things, and I don't know, just as if it doesn't matter. So we've done these things before. It's called In the Culture. In the Culture is where we have this kind of Q&A forum set up to where someone is with me and we talk about a certain topic. And joining us is Santi, obviously, and Santi's youth group is also live on Instagram, and they're watching too. So we're going to do this together. We're going to really talk. We don't have a set agenda. We don't have bullet points or anything.
We don't got no sermon laid out.
I just said, hey, let's talk about this. And if something comes up that we are wrestling with, I think it's good for you to see that too. We don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
We're young guys. We didn't go to school to talk about, dealing with people and politics. We love Jesus. We love you guys, and we want to help you love Jesus too. So we're just going to talk about these things.
When Gabe asked me about this, that's kind of where my heart was at too. At our youth group here at church, we dive deep into some issues, but if I could just be real, we don't really dive into politics. We don't really dive into a lot of these world culture issues that are hot button topics, right? And so I was pretty excited, to just to have a discussion about this. And it's literally just me being able to talk to my friend about this, you know what I mean? See what's going on. And also the heart behind this is we also want to kind of like let you guys know where our hearts are. And as your leaders, Gabe being your leader, just to see where his heart's at and how he feels with this, with what's going on in the world. And maybe even, at least myself, I have a little bit of like what our response should be, you know what I mean, to what's going on around us.
So we'll just go ahead and get started. Again, it's different. I was telling Santi earlier, usually with youth group, we do the giveaways, we do the game, and it just didn't seem right tonight to talk about those things and then, play games and, hey, we're going to get serious for a little bit, but then let's go back to the games and stuff because that's not life. Yeah. Right now, after we're done with the live stream, this is still going to keep going. And the families that are affected are still going to be hurting, and people are still rioting, and you don't just click on and off the entertainment. We're going to talk about that more in a little bit, but even with that, I wanted to be intentional to show you that tonight what we're going to talk about matters, and I want to hear you guys out, and I'm going to leave it open. I didn't tell you this. I'm just going to wing it, though. I'm going to leave it open to you guys. If you guys do have questions on any of the things we're talking about and any of the things you say, let us know in the comments. And we'll read them and we'll go over them. Now, if you ask a question, everyone else who is watching as well, don't say anything or don't be mean or rude or anything. Let people ask questions. That way we can all ask those questions. So, let's get into it. For those of you at FC Youth, again, my name's Gabe, and you guys at The Rock, this is Santi. I made these cool little intros. Santi's kind of a pro gamer himself.
Yeah.
He's live on Twitch.
On Twitch.
Sometimes I stream with him. I mean, no big deal.
Featuring Gabe sometimes.
As you guys know, I'm a world traveler. U.S. traveler, I guess I should.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to adjust. Never mind. I have some articles, snippets that I'm going to throw. Some things that celebrities say on social media. I have things I've seen on social media from my friends that I'm going to talk about. Things that are just interesting because just as I got a lot of this info, you did too. It's my friend posted about this, my friend shared this, and I've been consuming media like that, and probably you have too. So I'm going to do the same, but then we're going to talk about what those things mean.
Yeah, I like that.
So can you pull up the stream?
I sure can.
If you can. So the first thing I have is, actually the first thing, again, just a disclaimer, we're not professionals. We as followers of Jesus need to, as followers of Jesus, we all need to learn to talk about things. Not debate, not argue, talk about things. Talk about things that matter to us. If we feel that all we can talk about is churchy stuff, then what's the point? What's the point of having a body of people meeting together if we can only talk about reading the Bible and praying? Yeah. What about the hard things in life? If we never talk about those things, then when you have those questions, you have no one to talk to because you feel like, well, we can't talk about politics at church. We can't talk about racism. We can't talk about all these other things. And that's a lie. We can. You should talk about those things. So we're just trying to be a little vulnerable, open. We're not experts. Yeah. If we say something fire, you can,
hashtag that.
Hashtag it. Put
tag me.
Put it on Twitter. They don't use Twitter. I don't use Twitter. You use Twitter?
I don't.
Yeah, sorry. And if it's bad, forgive us.
Yeah, man.
This is new. So I have some things that this is something someone I know posted on social media, and I think this is going to cover my face, but that's okay. So yeah, it's on right on my face.
Nice.
It's right. Oh, sorry. It's right here. So this is what it says. It says racism is evil. Pray about it, but don't just pray about it. It says post about it, but don't just post about it. Educate yourself. Confront your own biases. Converse with people who look and talk differently than you do. I'll never know the feelings of suspicion and hate that my black friends deal with, but I refuse to look away and pretend it isn't a problem. If your human racism is your problem, we cannot be silent. Sorry, it's like really small, so I have to be really close. So, One of my friends posted that on Instagram on his story, and I like that. It's not. It's a human issue. Racism is a human issue, and now let's tackle that from the very beginning. Genesis, in the beginning, tells us that God made us in His image. It doesn't necessarily have to talk about looks, but He said God created all of us in His image. So if we're going to talk about racism, I need to get this out of my face. If we're going to talk about racism at its core, where the problem I have with racism, and I don't talk to a lot of people about this because I don't like to rant. I'm not that guy that's on Facebook or Instagram and I complain about it or comment on things like that. I try to keep to myself. And if you guys do that, that's your freedom to exercise, but just watch out how you do it. But I never talk about these things, and I'm going to now. The problem with racism is that for some reason, the people who are racist think of themselves better in every way than the people they're criticizing. The problem with that is that if God made us all in His image, how can you twist that to make it seem that God made all of us in His image except these people? Where in the Bible does it say that? That God made some people separate and some like Him. It doesn't. So that's at its core from the very first chapter in the Bible. That here's the problem. Is that God made all of us in His image. We are all the same. God loves us the same. Now, I'm not going to get into this too much.
Yeah.
But research really does show that the people who that Adam and Eve were most likely like brown-toned people. Like darker, not like pale white. I'm Mexican, but I'm getting white because I live in Indiana and like the sun doesn't come out much. You're a little on the pale side too.
Pale, yeah.
On a good summer day though, we might get a little tan.
I'm kind of brown on a summer day over here.
Yeah, but there's even this idea of I'm gonna say it, like the color white, like because it's in the United States and we talk about it, and it's an issue here in the U.S. And see, I even have a problem with that too, and I'm not gonna get into that. But it's the problem that people who are racist, even logically, it's almost like I just want to ask them, like, what makes you think you are better? What makes you think a skin tone is better than another? Who said that? And then honestly, if their answer is, well, I say so, or all these people, we believe this, then I dismiss that because to me, I'm sorry, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't understand the hatred, the stupidity, the ignorance of some people to be like that against their brothers and sisters and us in Christ. If you call yourself a follower of Jesus, there is no room for that type of. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot.
And I think you're right, dude. I mean, let it out, bro.
That's
what we're doing.
I'm
you know what I mean?
We're
just letting it out right now. And I totally agree with Gabe, man. That's the root of the issue. It's the people, right? It's the people who think that they're better. But honestly, thinking about it also is when you think about racism, it's something that's just been in our in our country. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Today, obviously, there's been improvements from back in the day when there was slavery, but there's still that shadow of racism over our country. And you could see that, especially with what happened recently, right? Mm-hmm. With the whole George Floyd incident. But then again, going back to kind of piggyback what Gabe was saying, is that you got to think about those people who are racist, they're not Christian. And that's it. And the reason I say that is not be over anybody else and be a Christian, because there's a saying that says, we are all even at the foot of the cross, right? Right. All of us. And there's a quick, I don't want to take too much time, but the quick story is, when the adulterous woman was dragged to Jesus by the Pharisees, right? You guys know the story, if you haven't sinned, be the first to throw a stone. But in that situation, those men saw them as higher than that woman, right? And Jesus, with just a couple sentences, puts them all at the same playing field. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing with this world. And going back to Genesis 1:27, like Gabe quoted, is all of us were made in the image of God. Every single person. God did not, make some people better. When He got His paintbrush in creating people, He wasn't like using better colors. You know what I'm saying? Like every single person He made, He was like, oh, that's real good. You know what I mean? Now that's real good. And by the way, note this: He didn't make angels in His image. He didn't make animals in His image. He made all people in His image. Every single person. So, I mean, racism is evil.
And pride at the essence of my skin tone, my nationality, my whatever. I'm just better. Nothing shows it's better. No one says it's better. Show me it's like It's a mentality. Racism is that state of mind that is so toxic, and we can't just not talk about it anymore. I'll admit, as a Christian, can you pull up the stream again? As a Christian, it's really easy to not talk about those things, because when you don't talk about racism, then it's just like not an issue, or it's like not an issue. It disappears when you don't talk about something. You can avoid conversations. If I were to talk about racism, then we'd get a lot of comments about racism. I'd get a lot of questions about racism, right? If we were to talk about anything relating any type of sin, then what are we going to talk about as a church culture? All the sin, the stuff we talk about. So what churches do, we don't talk about racism. We don't talk about sexual orientation. We don't talk about any of these things, because if we talk about it, then we have to deal with the comments, the questions, the arguments. And after some time, and the more I'm a follower of Jesus, I realize we just can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not fair to you that we teach you about this world, or part of it. If I only teach you about the good parts and the easy parts and how to read and how to pray, but that's it, well, how am I helping you when your friend, or when you struggle with those questions? What does the Bible say about racism? What does the Bible say about sexual orientation? What does the Bible say about divorce and pornography and all these weird things? What does it say? Well, we need to talk about it, and this is what this is, and racism, it kind of blows what's been going on lately kind of just blows the gasket at me. That's the reason I wanted you to pull it out. I'm concerned that it actually stopped it for everyone.
Well, it's stopping for me.
Oh, because you don't have internet?
Yeah, it's not reading internet, so.
We'll see. Well, I can post this later. We don't even know if it's working.
Yeah, picking up Wi-Fi again.
We're in this room that's really hot. Are you hot too?
It's hot in here.
I'm
dude.
like sweating. And you guys put
I
a
thought
lot.
you were just preaching.
Sorry.
No, I just didn't know it was. Okay. Yeah,
I don't even know who's watching, or I can't even tell. I guess I can tell that now, but it's just been kind of weird. But we can keep talking about it, and I'm gonna post this as videos as we go, for those that aren't watching. So we're gonna move on. This one's actually someone from here, someone from California posted this. A friend of mine, she posted this, and I liked it. I was scrolling,
yeah.
and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna put this right over your face actually this time, and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna get really. It says, to the church who had been so loud about the subject, stop fighting on the socials. People won't change their racial tendencies because of your opinions, your posts, your videos that support your opinions. They'll change with the gospel. Let's stop preaching social justice and start preaching the gospel that transformed you and I. And I think that's a crazy thing to say. Let's stop talking about what I believe and hey, you should listen to me or my the political party I follow. This is what we believe. Stop talking about those things. Start talking about the gospel of Jesus that actually changed you and I.
Yeah.
Talk about the power of God, because when you talk about God, when you talk about His love, when you really experience the love of God, then you're not just talking about this thing you heard. You're coming from a place of like, I believe this. God is love. And the Bible, God says life should be this way. We have to love one another no matter what it takes. And when you really believe that, then you really are going to do whatever you can to reach those around you and to love on them.
Yeah.
Don't just post about it. Do something about it. Don't just talk about it. Some of you are not prepared to walk the talk that you do. Some of you might post, I'm not singling you out.
Yeah.
People my age, my friends on social media might be posting stuff right now. And you might see it. People that you know post stuff and you're like, I don't know if I believe these people. I'm the same way. Can we actually do the things we say we're going to do? Can we not just post about, racial injustice? Can we not just post videos about ourselves? Can we not just blog? Can we actually do something?
Yeah, it's good.
That's the hard part, because nowadays, I'm doing a video too. We're doing a video, so we're no different. But the thing is that we're pointing out is that some of us just talk But I challenge us to take it a step further and do something about it. What can you do to to actually help, to actually love on those around you? What things can you do? What can you say? Because I don't think just posting about it is going to be enough.
I think Instagram posts won't change it. I don't think videos will change it. I think that's racism. Let's change issue of white privilege. It's not the issue. Is Jesus, the only one that can change it, right? Jesus is the only one that can transform us. It's the gospel, like Gabe said. And so we could do all we want, post the videos, but like Gabe said, now brings up the question.